Okay, testing to make sure everything is good to go, and I think we can go ahead and get rolling. Hi everyone, my name is Rose, also known as TA Summers. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my February wrap up for the year of 2025. I didn't really read that much in the month of February, so this video should go pretty quickly. I had a range of reads in terms of what I chose to pick up. Some of them I knew that I wanted to read during Black History Month, but unfortunately I didn't have the opportunity to be able to read as much as I wanted, and also prepare a recommendation video for Black History Month in terms of reads that I really wanted to give during the month in terms of giving people a TBR list to do. But I figured I can actually just talk about the books that I was able to read and give a recommendation video later, because Black History should be celebrated every month, technically speaking, but in February it's given attention where it's due. And I definitely wanted to be able to incorporate more reads as a result in terms of getting to those books. So I'm going to be discussing a total of 5 books, and we're just going to go ahead and dive in. So without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. I started off my February with a very good read in terms of it being a 5-star read, and this was one that was a read that carried over from 2024. I wasn't able to finish it by the end of the year last year, but I did finish it this year. I wanted to give attention to Thirsty by Jas Hammonds. I gave that 5 out of 5 stars. It was a wonderful YA read which tackled the very real harrowing situations in terms of what happens with alcohol addiction. You're following a girl named Blake, who is a biracial girl. Her father is Black and her mother is white, and she's trying to vie into getting into this prestigious secret society for Black girls, and trying to acclimate as she's navigating a society where it feels like she can't fit. And she is basically like in this well-to-do neighborhood where she's the odd one out, and she's had various insecurities in terms of things which are revealed through the narrative. And basically it comes to a head in terms of where the novel starts. You are following Blake as she is kind of seen as the the fun one, the partier, the drinker in terms of things, and it seems like she doesn't have a limit, and she does all these kinds of things, and her circle of friends kind of encourage her to do all these things. She sabotages a boat, she does things while she's drunk, but it starts becoming a problem when people in her friend group start noticing the changes in Blake's behavior in terms of how she comes across when she's drunk, in terms of her moods and things like that, and it starts affecting various relationships that she has in her respective life. And her girlfriend, because this is a sapphic tale in terms of things, you get to follow Blake as well as her girlfriend, and essentially this relationship between the two is that both of them want to be a part of this group called the Serenas, and be able to get into this group together. And it's a goal that both of them share in terms of things, in terms of what they want to do. But Blake's behavior, her drinking, starts spiraling out of control, which threatens opportunities and also threatens the relationships that she has in terms of things. And basically the narrative of Thirsty is her unpacking a lot of that, and I found myself very invested in this book. I was like, is Blake going to be okay? What are some of the things is she going to have some kind of coming to terms with all of this? And I thought that the narrative did a wonderful job of unpacking a lot of different issues and showcasing a lot of different identities and affirmations in terms of things, and being able to deal with that. So I thought it did a wonderful job, and it was very evocative. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. It was nominated for the Goodreads Choice Awards in 2024 for the YA category, but unfortunately it did not place very well, which I think is a shame, because I feel like a lot of people need, more people need to read Thirsty, and Jas Hammonds should have more acclaim than they do in terms of the work that they have done. But yeah, I think this was a grossly underrated read, and I think a lot more people should pick it up. But this is Thirsty by Jas Hammonds, 5 out of 5 stars. I liked it. It was a tough read, but I definitely appreciated the read, and I'm looking forward to picking up more from the author in the future. The next book that I read was a novella, which was a very, very quick read, and this is not the first book that I've read from this author, but it has been a while since I've picked up the author in terms of a Black romance. This is Temptation of a Good Man by Delaney Diamond. It is part of the Hawthorne series, I believe, in terms of things. And I've read from Delaney Diamond before, but I have not read this respective series in terms of things. So this is the first book of a series, adult romance novella, and it's a Black romance. You're following a woman whose name is Celeste. She is 30 years old and celebrating her birthday with friends, and she happens to meet a guy who is a physics professor named Rourke, who she really hits off like during the gathering in terms of things, and essentially they end up having a one-night stand in terms of where the chemistry between them, it really pops off in terms of things. And essentially, Celeste realizes that she doesn't want to get too tied down, so she leaves early in terms of being at Rourke's place, and she can't get this guy out of her mind, and he can't get her out of his mind in terms of things, in terms of the night they spent together. But then during the interim, in terms of like about a week later, Celeste agrees to be the fake date of one of her best friends in attending a wedding, kind of like just terms attached, being able to be at the wedding in terms of things so people don't ask questions. She essentially agrees to it. But at the wedding, she runs into Rourke again and realizes that her BFF is the half brother of Rourke in terms of things, and they have a very contentious relationship in terms of things. And in this fake dating situation for things, Celeste realizes that she's kind of gotten herself into a pickle, because like she's supposed to be the fake date for this person, and they're obviously have a cover story, but Rourke, who does not know about this fake dating situation in terms of things, thinks that Celeste is cheating on his brother-in-law, and has a number of different ways that he feels about it. Basically goes off on her on several different occasions, but at the same time, the two of them realize that they have a connection that even transcends some of the hard feelings that they have about this respective situation. And I did like the chemistry between Rourke and Celeste when it hit, and it is a dual perspective novella, and it flows very quickly. I'm not going to go too much more into it because it is a short read, and you can check it out for yourself if you'd like to. But I think one of the things that about this novella was that kind of kept it from being a 5-star read for me was sometimes Rourke really was mean to Celeste in terms of the things that he says. Like, he misunderstands the situation, sure, and like understandably, like, you know, if he thinks that Celeste was cheating with him in terms of things, like, you know, like he has the right to feel a way about it. But some of the things I was just like, oh boy, this is intense, and I hope they work it out in terms of things. And I did like, there were several scenes in this that I actually did enjoy in terms of the two connecting with each other. The walks on the beach, the reunion that they have at their airport. There were several scenes that I actually really liked from this novella and really did well with the chemistry between the characters. But I was like, "Ooh, boy, that was that's a little rough. That's a little rough in terms of how it was." But I did give this 4 out of 5 stars. I liked it. I very much liked the audio book version of this respective book, which is how I read it. I thought the narrators were wonderful. I think that overall I do want to pick up more in this respective series, so I'm definitely going to give it a try. But this is Temptation of Good Man by Delaney Diamond, the first book in the Hawthorne series. It is 4 out of 5 star read for me. I enjoyed it. Apart from a few caveats. Next book was an adult romance, and I have heard from so many people who said, "Rose, you need to pick up this book like ASAP." And I kept telling myself, I'm going to get to this. I'm going to get to reading this fully. I'm going to review it on my channel and just give a full review of it in terms of things in 2025. And I finally got a chance to be able to finish it and be able to talk about it. The book that I'm talking about, which has gotten a lot of acclaim and a lot of people love it, and I absolutely adored it as well. This was Only for the Weak by Natasha Bishop, and you can see the original cover up here for your reference. It was indie published, and it now has a traditional publisher, which this is the new cover up for your reference if you are looking for it. But I have a attachment to the original cover in terms of things, but this book was absolutely wonderful. I enjoyed it so much. You're following two people, Janelle Cross and Rome Martin. Janelle is one of the primary narrators. She is attending her sister's wedding in a destination type wedding type situation in Tulum. She is essentially a doctor as well as an unapologetic bookworm. So automatically I was like, okay, I love her, Janelle. I love this character so much in terms of things. I love her attitude. I love her personality. I love a lot of things about her. So like, she clicked with me pretty early on. But Janelle is essentially supporting her sister as the maid of honor to her sister Amory, who is having a wedding with Arnold. But the interesting thing about this is that Janelle is the ex-girlfriend to her sister's current fiance, which definitely causes quite a stir in the friend group that they share in terms of things. But she insists like that relationship is done. I'm happy for my sister. I'm gonna try to get through this wedding and be able to enjoy it for what it offers in terms of things. And then she ends up meeting and very much clicking with the best man of Arnold, who is Rome. And Rome is just such a delight. He really like just clicks with her from the very get-go. They had known each other in various circles before in terms of planning out things and like just going back and forth with their respective friend group. But this is actually the first time where it's like Janelle like really sees Rome in terms of things, and it doesn't feel like he's avoiding her or she's avoiding him. They actually have a chance to connect, and when they connect, they absolutely hit it off in terms of things. But Janelle's not sure that this is something that she wants because she doesn't want to create drama. She doesn't want to make it a thing. So she tells Rome, like, keep this relationship between us a secret. And he like, to his credit, he respects her wishes in terms of things. And he essentially says, like, I kind of want more from the situation, but Janelle actually says, like, let's do this only for the week because we have the week before the wedding to be able to do things. I want to be able to make the most of this experience in terms of things and not cause drama in terms of things. And she has definitely a lot of drama with her family as the narrative reveals. But as the events of the novel progress, and as Janelle and Rome get to know each other more through the week. They have opportunities to connect and really bond with each other, whether it's over books or whether it's over scuba diving and looking at sea turtles and things like that. I absolutely love the way that this paid attention to place, as well as the relationship between the two leads and their respective family and the overarching venue. But you realize there's a lot of drama that they have to survive through this week, so they have to make it through not only the week before the wedding but the week of the wedding, and things definitely like hit the fan in terms of a lot of things that Janelle and Rome have to unpack and go through during this destination wedding. But I've found this to be a wonderful read. I loved so much about it. Rome is absolutely a 100% a great book boyfriend. I loved so much about this novel, and I'm glad that I had the opportunity to be able to read it in full. I gave this a total of 5 out of 5 stars. One of my favorites of the year, one of my favorites of all time, and definitely one that I would absolutely recommend for a not only just an adult romance, but also a wonderful Black romance. I really enjoyed it. So that is Only for the Week by Natasha Bishop, 5 out of 5 stars, highly recommended. Next book that I read was one that I had as a galley for the longest time, and I finally had the opportunity to pick up. This was a delightful start to a middle grade series. This was Battle for the Park by H.D. Hunter. It is the first in the Futureland series. And you're following a boy named Cameron Walker, also known as Cam Walker. He is a boy who is living in the distant future in a futuristic Atlanta, and he is working alongside his parents in the maintenance of a futuristic type amusement park that is available and starting to open up for people in Atlanta. And Cam is just a wonderful lead to be able to follow. Like, you can tell he loves mysteries, noir type things. He loves being able to handle the maintenance and the different gadgets and things in the park along with his parents. His best friend is a Rev, which is a robot who is named Dooley, and you get to know like his relationship with Dooley as things progress in the respective novel. But then you realize that Cam has a few things that are going on. Number one, his parents want him to start at regular school and not just be on the at the park, because he regularly lives and works at the park for Futureland in normal circumstances, but his parents are like, yeah, you gotta go to regular school, start regular middle school, be able to bond with people and that kind of thing. And Cam's like, I don't know about all this. Like, are people gonna make fun of me because I'm the son of people who own the Futureland? Like, are they gonna like see me differently? And you get to see how Cam kind of adjusts to his school life in terms of things and makes friends in terms of things. But the overarching conflict of Battle for the Park for the first book in the Futureland series is seeing how things with the opening of Futureland, how things go wrong, and how they go wrong very, very quickly. First off, with certain malfunctions that happen at the park. And then Cam starts noticing his parents and uncle acting weird. And he's like, what is going on? He's like, why are all these malfunctions happening at the park? Why are my parents being weird? Why is my uncle decided to take a sudden vacation? And he's he's staying in the interim with his grandma while things are going on with Futureland. But he starts asking more questions, saying, okay, like, maybe I need to actually start stepping in. And then he also starts seeing that Dooley starts malfunctioning and acting weird as well. He was like, okay, I got to do something about this. And the deeper he goes, the more he realizes there's an insidious plot to take over Futureland, and he has to figure out what's going on and why in terms of things. And you start seeing like some of the more harrowing things, like different disappearances of kids who are going to the park and never come out, and he gets in the center of that in terms of deciding, okay, I need to do something about this now, and I need to recruit the help of my new friends to be able to do it. It is a wonderfully action-packed, funny, charming start to this respective series, and I really enjoy a lot of it in terms of things. I think to a certain extent, maybe some of the pacing of it could have been a little more streamlined, but I really enjoyed this first book in this respective middle grade series, and I'm definitely looking forward to reading more in this respective series, in the Futureland series. I gave this a total of 4 out of 5 stars. I'm definitely planning on picking up the other books in this series as soon as I can possibly get my hands on them. I believe they may be at my library. And the other thing that I'll mention is that there are differences between the audiobook version and the physical book version. The audiobook version has sound effects and different things, and is a multi-narrator, and is a wonderful immersive experience. The physical book is a combination of prose, text conversations, as well as illustrated sections that are interspersed between the books. So either way, you get an immersive experience with being able to pick up the first book of the Futureland series. And I really enjoyed the artwork. I really enjoyed a lot of aspects of this respective book. I was able to read it in both audio format as well as my galley format, which had the artwork and the prose and some of the sections that had the text and dialogue and recordings and things like that. So it was very much an immersive experience, and I really enjoyed what it offered. That is Battle for the Park, the first book in the Futureland series by H.D. Hunter. 4 out of 5 stars. Definitely recommend it. And the last book that I'm going to talk about for my reads of February of 2025 is a novella from one of my favorite authors. Of course, this is from Christina C. Jones. It's one of her latest offerings. This is the WAWG Studios' first book novella. It is called Between the Lines. This is a Black romance, adult Black romance novella, which follows Elodie and Shaw, who are both actors who have worked on projects before and have had very piping hot chemistry in terms of the work that they have done. So it not only showcases on screen, but it has also happened off screen in terms of their relationship that happens. But then you realize that this is a second chance romance, because it is revealed that Elodie and Shaw have broken up and have tried to pursue other relationships in terms of things. And you get to realize, without going into too many spoilers about it, in terms of what led to them breaking up, what caused the conflict, and how they end up getting back together in terms of working on a project for a table reading, which becomes ultimately another project that they're working on, and where they have to showcase their connection, which not only translates on screen but also off screen in terms of how they reunite, but they have to navigate some of the emotional roughness in terms of what they go through. And there is a respective conflict that happens with Elodie with her respective fame that causes Shaw to step in and say, hey, like, I can provide you help after this respective event that really leaves her shaken up in terms of things, and starts causing a little bit of controversy, but they navigate it in the best way that they can in terms of not only the project that they're working on and the navigating the controversy, but also navigating saying, hey, is this a relationship that we want to fight for? And I really appreciated that overall in terms of Between the Lines. I really liked the chemistry between the leads. I love the audiobook version, which was narrated by Wesley Siobhan and Sharif Stevens, who is a new narrator for me. So I thought Sharif did a great job of narrating Shaw's sections, and Wesley Siobhan did a wonderful job, as usual, narrating Elodie's perspective in this. So I thought it was a strong novella. I thought it was a strong audio reading. I loved it. This is a wonderful Black romance, Black adult romance, and I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I think this was a strong opening to this respective series, and I'm definitely looking forward to reading more in the series as they're released. But that is Between the Lines by Christina C. Jones, 4 out of 5 stars, recommended. So that is it for my reading wrap up for the month of February of 2025. A little bit late, but I've got it done. So I'll definitely do a wrap up for March, which by the time that this video goes up, it'll probably be already April. So it's a little bit late, but finally got it done. I loved so many of the books that I picked up in this month. It was a very good reading month for me when it was basically 4 and 5 star reads. So I'm definitely looking forward to being able to read more from the authors that I read from this month and being able to dive even more into their respective works. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be informed of when I post new videos. Thank you again so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next video.